morning and good evening, everyone. Okay, so let's get started. All right, let's talk about what we have done. So last time we took a topic of sorting and we finished sorting. We spoke about single column, multiple column sorting and sorting by colors. So today we are going to start with this topic of autofilters. So what is sorting is clear to everyone. Now let's get into the process of sorting. So we had defined that what is sorting for. Sorting is basically when we are trying to get data which is specific to the conditions that I have. A simple example could be in the data set that we are working with. A simple example could be if I wanted to only work with the data of Southwest, then sorting is probably not a very good solution because then you will have to sort. Once you've sorted manually again, you're going through the data, picking only the Southwest and then working with it. So easier way to do it is put a condition of region, put the condition Southwest and get the desired output. So how do we work with filtering? So the filtering we are talking about is called autofilters. Let me quickly write this thing. Filtering is the process of getting the data based on condition, or it could be conditions, multiple conditions or a single condition. We are going to talk about something called an autofilter. So where is autofilter? Autofilter is right over here in the data ribbon, and this symbol is for autofilters, right? Now, today I will also talk about how do you use shortcuts to work in these ribbons over here. So for example, what I like to do is when I'm working in Excel, my main concern is that I should know which tool lies under which ribbon, right? Like for example, anytime I want to sort and filter, I know I have to go to the data ribbon. Anytime I need to do any kind of formatting on my data, I know that I need to be in the home ribbon. If I want to do any kind of summaries, I know I have to be in insert ribbon. So pretty much I would know which tool lies where. Okay, so under data, most commonly used things are sort, and the second commonly used thing is filter. So how do you apply filter without going in the ribbon of data and clicking on it? Once you press the Alt button on the top, do you see each ribbon has an alphabet on top of it? What is the alphabet on the ribbon of data? It's A. So as soon as you press A on your keyboard, now you have entered the ribbon of data. And if you could also help me with underneath the filter icon, what is the alphabet over there? It's T. So now all I have to do is press T. As soon as I press T, you see automatically my filters have been applied. So my shortcut became Alt A T. Now think about it. If you do it over and over again, let's say every day at least 5-7 times you're applying auto filters, gradually, also, eventually this shortcut will sink in and say, okay, filter is Alt A T. Now, if I want to put a filter, I click on the symbol. If I want to remove a filter, I again click on this symbol. So the shortcut to put a filter and to remove the filter will be the same. So your all these shortcuts like Control Shift L and all these are the old version shortcuts that have been going on in Excel. And as and when they're trying to make Excel more and more easy to work with, more intuitive, you will see that they are kind of getting away with remembering something that you can't link. And that's why they introduced the Alt keys in 2007. So whatever shortcuts, if you've been using, you can use those. It's not mandatory you have to move to the new shortcut. If that you remember very well, very nice. All right. Few more shortcuts that will help you in navigating through these drop downs. So first thing we need to know is how to open up the drop down without using a mouse. So how do you open a drop down? What's the shortcut? Clicking on the drop down and opening this box is what I meant. So what's a shortcut for it is when you go to a cell which has a drop down, whether it's using auto filters or any other technique in Excel, but there's a drop down. And how do you know it's a drop down? Using this symbol that comes up with it, down arrow symbol. So this is a drop down. So how do you open this? The shortcut for this is Alt and a down arrow key. Okay. So Alt and down arrow, this opens up. And now there are a lot of choices that I see. Like last time we were discussing that I also have sorting options of largest to smallest, smallest to largest, sort by color inside the filtering tool. Yes. Along with that, I also have something called a number filter. And then I have these values. And what are these values? Like how do I get these values? What does it represent? This is age, but is it giving me, so for example, what I meant was I have about 1300 rows of data. So in this drop down, when I open, is it giving me all the 1300 ages over here, or is it something else? So what you see over here is a unique set of age. So if there are 10 people with age of 19, only 19 will appear one time, right? Ages in the list, it's a unique list. So if I anytime, let's say if I wanted to find all the people who are of the age 20, then I can unselect this one and select 20 and click OK. Once I do that, you will see so many people are of the age 20. So what this list gives me, basically it gives me the unique list of unique values of my column, right? Similarly, over here, if I move, you see there's only female and male over here, right? Why? Because it's unique. Otherwise, there are 1300 rows of data. So it is not coming female, male, 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 female again and again. Similarly, over here also you can see that, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 means the number of children is either 0 or maximum number of children in this group of data that I've picked is 5. In smokers, if you go, you see only yes and no. In region, if you go, you will only see the 4 regions we spoke about: Northeast, Northwest, Southeast, Southwest. So this is what this particular area has, unique values of that particular column. Clear? Now, when you open this thing, one way to move from the first choice all the way down is to use your arrow key. That is one way of moving. Or you can use a tab key. But the faster way to do is, let's say I want to reach this number filters, this part. Now, when you look at the word number filters, can you identify the alphabet or a character which is underlined? In number filters, in the word number filters, which character is underlined? It is F. In filters, F is underlined. So when I press F, it automatically goes to number filter. Now, let's say if I wanted to click on between, what is the alphabet I need to click on? It is W. So if I click on W, it has opened up the dialog box for the custom filtering in which I can work with between. So these are called accelerators. All right. In the drop down, the box at the bottom consists of unique values of that column. All right. So I've put my shortcut key and I've selected date. Now, once I go click on the drop down, I can see the sorting of newest to oldest, oldest to newest, and they are date filters. And at the very bottom, is this a unique date that I'm getting, or was something happened to the date also? How is the date showing up for me? Is it showing up as an individual dates like we have in our column, or something else has happened to it? So years are there, right? So it is years. So what Excel has done over here is what we call, it has aggregated it. When I use the word aggregated means it has done some kind of grouping on top of it, right? So what it has done, it has converted into year level. Because think about it, when you filter the data, it's not impossible that we filter for a particular date, but mostly we filter for a particular month or a particular year, a few months in a particular year, and so on and so forth. So at the bottom, what I'm getting is the grouped. And whenever you see this plus sign in Excel, this kind of indicates that these fields are expandable. So if you click on it, you are getting January. When you're clicking on it, you're getting 01. Similarly, I can click over here. I get all the months from Jan to December. And if I click on any month, I'll get all the dates that are there for this particular month. Now, the question could be, number one, how do I collapse? So when I'm coming back, this is called collapsing. And when I click on it, it is called expansion. So expansion and collapse. So what could be the shortcuts for expansion and collapse? How would you pick these drop downs? Like how would you unselect, select? How would you work with the check boxes? What is a shortcut for that? So the shortcut for this is spacebar. Now let's move to the date filters. What are the options we get in date filters? So since we are working in dates, what is the option it gives me? Equal to. So if I click on equal to, I'll get one area where I can type in the date and I will filter the dates based on that condition. I can do filtering before a certain date, or let's say if I wanted after a certain date. So when I click on it, this window called custom filters, custom auto filters open up. And on the left side, you will see the criterias are set. And on the right side, you have to give the values. Left is the criteria, right side is the value. So I have to give a date over here. Now, since we all work with different formats of date, DDMM, MMDD, to avoid these kind of confusions when I'm typing the date, I like to use this guy called date picker. So this tool called date picker opens up a calendar for me. And then I can go ahead and select the date. However, if I am working in 2012, this is not easy because to reach 2012, I have to keep pressing these arrows. So rather than that, what I do is, let's say if I had to work with 1st of September 2012, I'll click on this and I know I picked 1st September, so I can verify the format is exactly what I'm thinking, and then just go ahead and in the year part, change it. So once I have made it 1st September, I just went ahead and changed the year 2012, and I've got the filters. Okay. Now, when you're looking at the data, what changes can you identify that can help you to understand the data got filtered? What are the changes that you can see which can indicate the data has been filtered? So in the drop down, suddenly this filter sign had appeared that indicates that a filtering condition was put on the column of date. What else? Consecutive order is there or not there? For example, if I would have just sorted, let's say this. Now it's not a consecutive column that you can see. So column A, see, when we do filtering, it does not mean that I'm doing sorting on it. So it may look like a sequential data. It may not be a sequential data. All right. So this cannot be the reason why we feel it's sorted, why it's filtered. Filtered and sorting are two different things. Okay. So what gives it away? Number one, you see the symbol on the drop down. Number two, look at the color. Is the color blue normally in Excel or is it black? Typically it's blue, it's black, right? But anytime you're applying filter to your data sets, automatically that filter data that is meeting the conditions or the criteria, you will see the row turns blue in color. So that's another indication that the data has been filtered. So if I get a filtered data, I see blue color rows and I can see this symbol on the top, then I know the data has been filtered, and on which column the filtering has happened will be given by the symbol in the drop down. Simple. So I've got the filter data of a date after certain date. Going back, similarly, I have between that I can find between two dates. So I have to give two dates in that case. Now, after between, there is today, tomorrow, yesterday, next week, all the way to last year. Now, whenever you are going to press on any of these criteria, so you will see that unlike when we clicked on after this custom auto filter came up, I had to type in things. It will not ask me for any kind of input. So if I click on, let's say, today, so it did filter, but I don't have any dates which are today's date. Hence, I'm not getting any value. But it worked, right? So how did it work? How did it know what is today? So how do all these options from tomorrow all the way to last year work? In fact, it works till this part. Everything below between. How does it work? It works based on your system date and time. So it works on your system date and time. So if my system date and time is correct, based on that, it can calculate what are the dates in this week, what are the dates in this month, last quarter, next year, and it can automatically understand the dates itself. Now let's come to year to date. Now, what does year to date do for us? Any idea what is year to date? Again, when I selected this came up blank. What is the role of year to date? Year to date means from 1st of January of the current year till today's date. So if I have to write down what is year to date, right? It would be what? 1st of January 2022 till today's date. And today's date is what? Today is 9th Feb 2022. So this is YTD. We call it in a short form as YTD, or it's also called year till year to date. So whatever is your date till that point, starting from 1st of January, would be year to date. Now, when I picked up this data set and I said, okay, I want to apply year to date, I get blank. Why am I getting blank? Because this is all historical data. There is no today's date. There is no date from this year. Hence, I would not find anything. Now, next is all dates in the period. Now, all dates in period, what it does is, for example, if I select January, so which year's January will it give me? It will give me all years. So I can see there is January of 2012. When I scroll down, I will be able to see 2013, 2014, 2015. So all the years, that particular month I'll get. Similarly, if I did the quarter 2 or a quarter 1, same thing it will do. It will find me dates pertaining to all the quarters. And these quarters, when we talk about, are the calendar quarters. Jan, Feb, March is quarter 1. April, May, June is quarter 2. Now let's move to the card type. Card type is what? It's text. So once I click open this drop down, I am getting what? I'm getting text filters. So in text filters, what are the options? We have things like equal to a text, does not equal to the text, begins with. Let's take an example. If I say equals to Honda, what will I get in this data? I have all the car types given over here. So if I say equal to Honda and I press OK, what data will I look at? Which data will I be looking at? Only the Honda cars, right? Only the Honda cars. No other cars, but only the Honda. So if you're thinking Honda at the top, you're still thinking about sorting. So if I look at this data, this is only going to be Honda cars. No other cars are there. Yes, because we are doing filtering now. All right. And if I did does not equal to Honda, then what will I get? Except Honda, I will get everything. So I'll get all the cars except for my Honda cars. And if I did, for example, if I did begins with, and I said begins with, let's say, T. So any car that starts with the letter T would show up. So in our case, it's just Toyota cars. And similarly, on the same lines, if I say ends with, let's say ends with A, then what it does, it gives me Honda and Toyota cars. So this is how we use it. Okay, one more is there, which is contains. Contains means it does not have to be exactly the same. That is what contains means. So if I say contains A, if I would have put equal to A, I would not get any card because there is no cell in Excel. There is no value in this list which is only consisting of the alphabet A. But when I say contains A, it is going to go to the cell and check if any of the characters matches with A, then it is going to give me a value of contains A. So Honda got selected, Subaru got selected, Mazda got selected, Audi got selected. All these cars have A in it. So that is the meaning of contains. And does not contain would be right opposite. So if I say does not contain A, I'll get cards like Ford where there's no A, GM. These two cars don't have any alphabet of A. Is it clear? Okay. All right. Moving on, we will move now to the numbers. So in our number column, we have choices of number filters. And what are those? Equal to a particular number, does not equal to a number, greater than a number, less than a number, between certain number. So let's say if I'm looking for sales value which are greater than or equal to 25,000. So I clicked on it. Automatically on the left side, it has already set my conditions that the sales is greater than or equal to, and all I have to do is put the value over here. So I want greater than equal to 25,000. Once I've put, I click OK. I am getting only the data with respect to greater than 25,000. So very simple. Number filters, I picked greater than or equal to. On the left, the conditions are already preset. On the right, you put the value based on which we are doing the criteria, and it gives us the output. What are the other things that we have over here? We have something called top 10. Now, like the name suggests, what is the work of top 10? Based on the values that it has in a column, it will give you the rows which has the top 10 values. Okay. So if I click on, it could be, I did top 10 and I got nothing. Any reason why? Or I can, let me make it top 5 and see if something comes up. Can you think of why I did not get anything in top 5 or top 10? What went wrong? I'll tell you where the problem is. The problem is items to percent. Not really. The problem was that before I went and put a top 10 over here, I also have filters on car type and date. So what does that mean? It means that my top 10 does not work with other filters. When it is finding top 10, it's finding the top 10 of the entire column. Now, all those top 10 values does not meet the criteria of the date. That is what we had put in the dates. We said dates in the period of January. Okay. So it is not in the month of January, number one. Number two, it is not Ford or GM. So if I remove this and if I, clear this filter, if I go to the date, clear this filter. Now, if I go ahead and go to top 10 and click OK, now you will see it is giving me the top values. Why? Because these top values of the entire column does not belong to the GMs. But yes, Ford is coming, but look at the month of the Ford. It's 5th, which is May, and 9th, which is September. So previously, even though we had Ford, it was not showing up because it did not lie in the month of January. Understood? So in number filters does not work when filters are applied to other columns in the table. It works with all the data of the column. Is it clear? It's very important to know how this particular function works. Is it clear? So a couple of more things before I do that. This top is not necessarily that we can only find top, we can also find bottom. And it's not necessary I have to work with only 5. I can only 10. I can make it 5. I can make it 50. So you can play around with the numbers. You can make it top or you can make it bottom. Third thing in this is item versus percent. So what is this item versus percent? So for example, if I have 200 data sets, right? Out of this 200 data, if I say I want top 10, how many items should I see? How many data should I see in top 10? Out of 200, I said I am looking for top 10. So how many data should appear after filtering? It should be 10, right? Because I said top 10, so I'm expecting minimum 10 would be there. And if you say top 10%, then what should I expect? Then I'm going to expect 200 into 10%. And that would be 20. So out of 200 data sets, 10% is the top 10% would be 20 items that I'll be looking at, or the 20 data sets that I'll be looking at. So that's the difference between item and percent. If someone asks, okay, based on the charges, who are my top 10 customers versus saying who are my top 10% of customers. So that would be the difference between the two. All right, this is one. Now coming back to your, if let's say I wanted to find the top 10 sales in year 2012. I want to find my top 10 sales in year 2012. So if I go over here and I say, okay, I only want 2012, get rid of all, select 12, go to sales, drop down, number filter, top 10, click OK. I'm getting 3 values. I ask for 10. And it's not that it does not have 10 values, because if you see, this 2012 has about 461 rows. So out of 461, why it did not give me top 10? Same reason. It does not work with filter data. So how do I find it for a specific year? So once you have applied your filter, I have applied the filter of year. Now I can copy the data. And when you copy a filtered data, you see the lines are also coming in the middle. So wherever there is a continuity, it is a block. And after that, it is only copying your visible cells, right? Anything which is hidden, it's not getting copied. So don't worry. And once I've copied, I'm going to paste it in a new worksheet. Now this worksheet has data of which year? Only of 2012, right? This sheet only has 2012 and we can go and check. So it's showing me only 2012 now, right? If I collapse it, it's only 1 year. And now if I go and say, I want to work with filters and I want to work with the top 10 and click OK, now I'll get my top 10 sales. What if there is a total at the end? Will it still give me top 10? If you remember that it's a very bad habit if we try to put or stick anything to the around the table. So one row should be completely empty above and below the table, and one column should be completely empty on both the sides of the table. So if you do that, your total at the end will not be a part of it, because it should not be a part of your data. All right. So as a good practice, we should not put anything which is not data related around our tables. So you know how to filter, you know how to copy a table, you know how to create a new sheet, and you know the pasting process also.